Deputy Mayor and Commissioner for the Department of Parks and Recreation. And I'm extremely happy to be here to participate in this exciting announcement regarding Temple men's and women's crew teams, as well as for the Canoe House facility located in Fairmount Park on Kelly Drive. In addition to Mayor Nutter's leadership, I'd like to recognize the following leaders who helped get us to this important announcement. First, I want to congratulate Temple's president, Dr. Neil Theobald, who is up here with us at the podium. Also want to thank Jerry Lenfest, who isn't here today, but who's a trustee at Temple, and you will hear more about Jerry's contribution to this effort. Also want to thank Council President Darrell Clark and a councilman of the 4th District, Curtis Jones. The Canoe House has served as an important role in Philadelphia's famed rowing history. For close to 100 years, the Canoe House has been one of the most distinctive boathouses along Kelly Drive and has been a central point for both regional and national regattas. For decades, the city hosted the Temple crew team and a number of high school teams at the Canoe House. Countless young people have used this facility and shoved off from its docks to row in thousands of races and regattas at the highest levels of high school and collegiate rowing competition. However, in 2008, when the Canoe House was closed due to structural issues, Temple was forced to run its program out of tents situated next to the building, an untenable situation for any caliber rowing program. At that time, the Department of Parks and Recreation began trying to figure out how it could save this beautiful and historic building, historically certified building, with our limited capital budget. Today, we are here to make some important announcements about the Canoe House and the other sections of the river to help sure that people can use this space and gain access to the river for another 100 years and beyond. The mayor's clarity on the importance of this facility and the important place the Temple rowing program has in the life of the city has really helped us get to this point today, where we have this wonderful announcement. So please join me in welcoming our mayor, Mayor Michael Nutter, to the podium.
Thanks, Mike. Mike, thank you very, very much, and to you and your team for your vision and leadership in this regard. We would not be in this situation but for the foresight and the planning that you and the great folks over at Parks and Recreation have been going through for the past few years, and I'll explain in more detail what that means. Let me also thank, again, Dr. Neil Theobald, President of Temple University, and all of the members of the Board of Directors, a few of whom are here this afternoon, and we want to thank them for their presence. She just walked in, and let me thank Dr. Lori Shore, the city's Chief Education Officer, for her close work and partnership with Temple University. And a particular extra shout out to Ken Lawrence, who works with us here at City Hall on a regular basis, both the administration and City Council. And of course, as again Mike mentioned, the leadership of Council President Darrell Clark, in whose district Temple University, at least in Philadelphia, is primarily situated. He has been a strong supporter of Temple University at a variety of levels and needs. At the same time, the Canoe House, which I'm going to talk about in a second, is situated on, of course, Kelly Drive and is located within the boundaries of the 4th Council District. And for that and his leadership, I want to thank 4th District City Councilman, the Majority Leader, Councilman Curtis Jones. We all know why cities developed along their rivers in many instances. And whether it's for manufacturing or trade or transportation, Philadelphia is, of course, blessed to have 2 rivers, and both of them helped to establish this city as the manufacturing giant that it became at the turn of the last century. Now we appreciate all of these amenities and so much more. People still want to be near the water because they enjoy it for recreation, relaxation, and beauty. The Schuylkill River, for instance, was named the 2014 River of the Year by the Pennsylvania Organization for Watersheds and Rivers. Boathouse Row is a national landmark and, of course, a great Philadelphia icon. All of the boathouses on the banks of the Schuylkill are treasures that help to make our city so unique. It is incumbent upon all of us to preserve our historical treasures for the future of Philadelphia. And so now it's my pleasure to announce that the City of Philadelphia, in partnership with the H.F. Lenfest Foundation and Jerry Lenfest, will provide more than $5 million to restore and renovate the East Park Canoe House on Kelly Drive. The City of Philadelphia has committed $2.5 million, and through the generosity of Jerry Lenfest and the Lenfest Foundation, they've now committed $3 million to this effort. Together, this funding will be used to undertake the historic renovation of this particular boathouse and provide renovated public restrooms, office and storage space for the Philadelphia Marine Unit, and lockers and boat storage for the Temple crew teams. The remaining funds will be used for site improvements like new parking lot surface and, of course, landscaping. Temple University, we anticipate, will have a long-term lease at the boathouse, similar to the historic arrangement that they have had for many, many years. Once design plans are finalized and a contractor is selected, we expect construction to last between 12 and 18 months. And this is not the only improvement that we plan along this area of Kelly Drive and Boathouse Row. I'm also pleased to announce that the City of Philadelphia has allocated $1 million in capital funds to repair a portion of the retaining wall along Kelly Drive, beginning at the Strawberry Mansion Bridge and working its way down to the St. Joe's University, St. Joe's Prep Boathouse. Additionally, the city has secured a Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources grant, also known as DCNR, in the amount of $250,000, which will be matched by funds from the Philadelphia Parks and Recreation Department and the Water Department to install rain gardens along the recreation trail, beginning at the St. Joe's University, St. Joe's Prep Boathouse, to manage stormwater runoff. We take seriously the job of protecting this public space and so many others for future generations. And I want to thank Mr. Jerry Lenfest, our good friend, President Theobald, the Temple University trustees, and certainly their great students for this partnership. And so now with that, let me introduce the president of Temple University, Dr. Neil Theobald.
Thank you, really appreciate it. Mr. Mayor, thank you for having me here today. I'll make my remarks quite brief. On behalf of everyone at Temple University, I want to thank you, Mayor Nutter, for your extraordinary efforts to bring the historic East Park Canoe House to a new life. The renovation improvement to the East Park Canoe House will make it possible for Temple University to return men's crew and women's rowing to their former status as varsity sports. I've just come from a meeting of the Temple University Board of Trustees where they endorsed the return of these two sports. That news was greeted with great enthusiasm. I also want to specifically applaud the generosity of one of our trustees, Jerry Lenfest. Many of you know Mr. Lenfest as one of the city's great philanthropists. He has once again come forward to show his love for Temple and for the traditions of this great city. Through this collaboration, the City of Philadelphia and Mr. Lenfest have made it possible for Temple to have a home and continue a storied tradition on the Schuylkill River. Mr. Mayor, you once again have shown why we think of Temple as Philadelphia's public university. You and your team have ensured that Temple and Temple rowing remain at home in the heart of this great city. Thank you so much.
So I'll be glad to take any questions from the press about this announcement. One thing that I alluded to in my remarks but didn't go into detail, the city's contribution here, and I kind of alluded to it, but it bears more detail. The $2.5 million being put forward by the city, these are actually funds that we have been slowly accumulating over the past 5 to 6 years. Again, Mike DeBaradinis and his team very smartly, when we realized that we were having the great challenges with the Canoe House, and ultimately when it closed, pretty much every year for the past few years, they've actually been setting capital dollars aside, anticipating that at some point in time we would actually be able to renovate the Canoe House. That accumulation of dollars, now paired with a large immediate infusion of the $3 million from Jerry Lenfest and the Lenfest Foundation, allows us to now obviously significantly accelerate the time frame under which we're able to push forward this project. And so it's the foresight and vision of Parks and Recreation combined with the generosity of Jerry Lenfest that allows us to move this project forward so quickly, as opposed to this more incremental accumulation of capital dollars by the city that would have taken many, many more years to get up into the $5.5 million range to be able to do this project. So with that, on this announcement, be glad to answer any questions that the news media may have. Sure.
Can you spell a rain garden, please?
A rain garden.
Yes.
I'll do my best. Mike D might have a more detailed explanation. Rain garden is usually an area that's really kind of set aside for the accumulation of water, often coming down from the sky, known as rain, and then it goes into that area and helps us with stormwater management and runoff, so that those, especially when we get heavy rainstorms, as opposed to that water surcharging our sewer system and contributing to overflow, which then unfortunately contributes to pollution in our rivers and streams. That water slowly percolates into the ground table and does not go into our surcharged sewer system under heavy rain events. So,
That's very good. Yeah.
okay. That's what a rain garden is. Yeah, you got to know a lot of things in this job. Yes? I'm sorry?
Cost of the boat.
For the renovation?
Yes.
I believe the approximate estimate right now is about $5 million. Total funds available is $5.5 million, and we'll again utilize some of those funds for parking lot facility as well as landscaping to help with the new Troy Graham rain garden that's going to be out at the Canoe House. Any other questions? Thanks so much. This is a great announcement by Temple University. Temple is back. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You had it right.